And what I would say is that, having read through, because I've read through all the chapters of the Apex book, the talent section is one of those ones that really grew as we went from version one to version two. And I know you put a lot personally into that. Um, it's if we want to get into this subject of GBS talent, you actually come at it in the book from several different perspectives, from the perspective of the enterprise, from the talent themselves, and various other things. I think we use that to have this conversation. But let's start from the perspective of the enterprise and maybe the GBS leader. What matters from a talent perspective when you're looking at that? And let's start with you, Deborah, and then Tony, you chip in with things that you see.
Well, in some respects, a GBS leader is no different from any other enterprise leader. Um, they have to be able to lead people. They have to be able to take selective risks, certainly in GBS, as in other corporate functions and business, being able to manage your stakeholders is really critical. That's why you see several leader personas. Many of the folks who are taking the helm of our GBS organizations today are what I call loyalists. They've come up through the business. They understand the
Yeah.
business. They know where all the skeletons are buried. They have very deep relationship with stakeholders. And to be honest with you, some of our best leaders were basically voluntold to go into the GBS space for a range of reasons. It could be developmental. It could be calm the waters after some torrid expert from the outside came in and turned everything upside down and then either left or was run out of town on a rail, one or the other. But we've got to stop thinking that GBS leaders are exceptionally special.
Yeah.
But having said that, they are special because running a function or a business line is very different from taking the helm of a model. A model is transitory. Finance is not transitory, it's regulated. HR, we still will work on people even after the robots take over the world. Business lines still need leadership. And the fact that a GBS leader has to justify the model every day makes basically puts a lot of their leadership skills under a magnifying glass. But net same skills you need to succeed elsewhere, probably because the fragility or temporal nature of the model. We expect um, look, it tries the soul, let's put it that way.
The enterprise view of talent is incredibly important. And Deb just gave a very eloquent answer on, why new GBS leaders that suddenly get moved or voluntold or whatever it is
Yeah.
from their functional roles find themselves in a totally different industry, because GBS is a very different
Yeah.
industry. It's a combination of the BPO industry and consulting industry in some ways, along with a few other skill sets that are needed. So
I
what
think
tends
more
to
than a
happen?
few, yes.
Yes. And so what tends to happen is that, now you've suddenly inherited not just an area to run, mostly via influence, as Deb said, but then you've inherited, more likely than not, offshore centers and outsourcing deals. And so you have to very quickly pick up the strategies on how to make sure that your 1,000 people in these offshore locations aren't moving out in droves because they have no career path. Or, how to make sure that your BPO partners are running good offshore centers, or your consulting partners are actually driving the transformation that you expect to drive. So all of this essentially needs an approach. And so in version one of the book, I think that was our attempt to basically create a model to say, hey, congratulations, you've just been parachuted into this entirely new
Yeah.
role. Is there something out of our experience and all of our gray hair that we could advise you on? And that was the attempt.